In a solo situation, it's basically changing the whole feel, and like pushing a reset button to start over and maybe start a new idea. Or it could just be part of what was already happening and you just kind of transform into this other feel, which can be kind of unexpected and a cool, you know, as a listener, it can be really cool.
man. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Keith Carlock at Drumeo.
Well, thanks for having me, Dave. It's good to be here, man.
Dude, thank you for coming out.
My pleasure.
You're an office favorite here. We've wanted you out for a long time. Jared's a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. Kyle's a huge fan. We're all huge fans of you. You're a legend in the drum scene. For those who don't know, Keith Carlock, go and check him out. Most notably playing with Steely Dan, you play with Toto, you play with so many big acts, can't even list them all on this little introduction here. So thank you for coming out.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah.
That's so nice. It's good to be here.
Beautiful kit you're playing too. Awesome Gretsch drums, Constantinople cymbals. Thank you, Gretsch and Zildjian and Evans and all the cats for helping make this happen. And we got a really cool lesson planned for you today. What's it on, Keith?
It's on making your drum solos more interesting, hopefully, with some ideas that I use a lot. One of them being kind of playing with a modulation of sorts between like a 12/8 feel that can kind of modulate into a 6/8 kind of funk feel that can also modulate into like a 3/4 funk kind of feel, and just kind of weaving in and out of all three of those, and it's cool because it can allow for some really interesting things to happen and shifts in the way the time feels. So hopefully it's interesting for the listener and for the player. So it's kind of fun to play around with.
Yeah, it's been really cool. I saw you do a 20 to 25 minute solo just on the weekend at the Victoria Drum Festival, and there wasn't a single part where I was bored or where I was thinking, okay, well, when is he going to move on to the next the next feel or whatever it was. You kept me engaged the entire time. I've seen you use this concept in other solos, so I'm really pumped that you're teaching it here on Drumeo. And soloing is something drummers always fear. That's like something that's scary, and not a lot of drummers are down to solo. And I think that's one of the reasons is how am I supposed to do something that's interesting? So this is going to be a really cool lesson on that. So there is sheet music, and it's not going to be too useful. It's going to drive the concept down, but everything is going to be more conceptual and how you use this concept in your solos. Mm-hmm. So before we get into it, let's play a solo.
Okay.
Cool? Do an open solo, Keith. No time limit. Use that concept in mind, and then we'll chat about how to use it and how we can teach others how to use that as well after.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Dude,
How long was that?
what did I just witness, man? Wow.
Am I dripping all over myself?
Dude,
What's going on?
that was unbelievable. That was a good 10 minutes, I would say, but that was fantastic. Not once, I was engaged the whole time. My goodness, completely unrehearsed, guys. I just put him on the spot. I'm like, can you do an open solo? Very well done, buddy. Very well done.
Thank you.
You have such a good feel. A lot of people in the chat are asking, what is going through your head when you're playing that? I would love to hear the song you're singing in your mind. Unfortunately, we don't have all the time in the world on this live lesson, but if you want to see more from Keith, go to drumeo.com. We're going to film a bunch of courses with them on creating meaningful grooves, all sorts of stuff, talking about the solo concept even further. But for now,
Yes.
we're talking about modulation.
Yes.
Catch your breath. Did you guys and girls out there listening, did you hear the modulation happen throughout the solo? I heard it a number of times. If you're watching this on YouTube, comment below with what sections did you hear this concept happen. Elaborate on this, man. What are you thinking, and how do you manipulate that?
Well, as we're here, I think we'll get into more ways to make your solo interesting. But what we're focusing on right now is what we were talking about before. It's kind of like a 12/8 to 6/8 to 3/4, kind of playing phrases in each one, and then eventually I'm just kind of weaving in and out of those different feels within a phrase. It may not be like blocked out completely even. When I say phrase, I'm thinking 8-bar phrases or something even, usually, in an open solo. So just to show you an example of what's going on, there's a sheet of music, right? Or at least the rhythms. So could we turn that click on?
Absolutely, man.
Hopefully I'll just play really quietly and talk above it just to kind of explain what's happening and then elaborate a little bit.
Sounds good. Here's the click at 120, which is very important to have a reference point when we're talking about patterns like this.
Okay, so the first one is 12/8, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, da, 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 and then you can feel it in 4, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That in half is the way I think of it. Take away the left hand and just play the right hand. Have the second rhythm. Now I transition by thinking of this as 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you cut this one in half, the 8th note stays the same. 1, 2, 1, 1. Now we're back where we started.
Okay.
So.
Break that down for us there. That was amazing. So you're feeling a different pulse for each one.
Yeah.
But you're still in the same tempo.
Yeah, they all relate to each other, which is what's so great about playing in groups of threes. There's so much you can do with it. I mean, this is just touching the surface of what you can do. And it's really fun because in a solo situation, it's basically changing the whole feel. And like pushing a reset button to start over and maybe start a new idea. Or it can just be part of what was already happening and you just kind of transform into this other feel, which can be kind of unexpected and a cool, as a listener, it can be really cool, what's happening is I'm not really thinking of what the click is doing. That was just for an example so you can hear what's happening. I'm kind of feeling the new feel as it changes. Mm-hmm. So I'm feeling this in 4. And then when we go to the 6/8, me, I'm thinking. Go back to the 12/8. Or you can just go in any order you want.
Yeah.
Or just stay where you are for a while, let that develop. And so it's kind of fun to go in and out.
Perfect. Jared brought you a Drumeo shirt to use as a sweat towel. This is, you could go ahead, man, wipe yourself down with that. We're running low on towels here.
We're going to eBay it afterwards.
Yeah, we're gonna put this on eBay. Highest bidder wins. Oh, Matt.
Who's going to want that? Yeah, earlier I got a black towel and it hadn't been washed, so I looked like a coal miner coming out of the
a bunch of black lint all over
like,
your face.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Right before the photo shoot, too, right? So let's go back to that concept. Can you do that one more time for us? But I'm going to put the click on because I think it really hits home when you hear it messes with your mind. And a lot of drummers think, oh, he changed tempos there. Right. But you're not. And that's what makes it so useful in a solo setting because you had this constant pulse going through or tempo going through your mind when you're doing that. But yet you changed the feel so much that it was almost like you implied speeding up and slowing down.
Right.
And it makes it easier for people to follow along and be very, very creative. So let's put the click track back on, go through it 12/8 into the 6, into the 3, and then back again. Make sense?
Yeah. Why don't I do 4 bars of each?
Perfect. So here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Perfect.
So it's really cool. It can sound like you're shifting tempos, but you're really, if you're kind of thinking in this way, they're all related to each other.
So how does a drummer practice this? How do they develop that sense like you'd have?
I think this would be the easiest way to do it is to turn on a click and the little sheet of paper that has the basic outline of what's happening, just go through it and play maybe 16 bars of each and just get to, maybe start a little slower and just get to where it feels natural. Because it's a strange thing going back to the 12/8. That's the one that feels the weirdest to me, at least.
Right.
It's going back to that after you've kind of gone into this kind of slower quarter note 3 thing. Because it's always there. You know? But so it's all related and it's all in the same 4 beats per measure if you want to think of it that way. But I think it's groovier if you switch it over in your mind to the 6 being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, and then cat, and just knowing that those 8th notes don't change. You know, that's the key.
Yes.
So the simplest way to think about it is turning on that click.
Want me to turn it on?
Yeah, I'll just play the hi-hat. All I'm going to do is take my left hand away, and then this is going to stay the same for the rest. I'll show you what I mean. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 12/8. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I just took this away, right? So that's kind of like a 3/2 rhythm if you think of things like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. So don't want to complicate it, but that's what's happening. 1, 2, 3. And then this 8th note is going to stay the same. It's just going to change where how you feel it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
So you're singing in your head when you're going through this stuff.
You know, I think of ideas like I'm singing. Maybe it sounds a little corny, sorry, but I'm like singing little melodies between the kick and snare, what I might play within that time feel. But it's all happening in the moment. But it's a lot of muscle memory grooves that I've played.
Yeah.
You know, and just weaving in and out of those time signatures or those feels, you know.
So you showed us in a beat format and in the very simplistic format. Can you just do one more example for us where you're more creative around the kit? Because when you played your solo, you were all over the place and it sounded amazing, but in your head you were modulating.
Yeah.
Correct? Mm-hmm. So if I put the click track on, or maybe I won't even put the click track on, you do it freeform, but just play a little bit of that concept, but soloing around the kit.
Yeah, okay. 3, 4.
Yeah.
You know, it's when you're demonstrating, it can sound different than when it's in the moment, but hopefully that gave you the idea.
Yeah, I heard it.
Just trying to play each one for a few measures, you know,
Yeah.
just going in and out of each one. So
It's interesting, drummers out there, intermediates out there who can grasp this concept. You hear his solo differently now that you know kind of what's going through your mind. So I implore you to watch his open solo. It's about a 10-minute solo. Watch it again and post in the comments below. I want to see if you can pick out those parts, certain timestamps, like, oh, he's going to the 12 feel there, and,
right.
and he's thinking 3/4. Dude, that's a great idea. That's a great concept. And I love how you adapt it to a solo setting.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you use it in grooves and songwriting as well, or is it mainly something you bring to the solo stage?
I think it's something that I've probably played in maybe some instrumental music over the years in various groups, you know, with those kind of ideas in it.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon or anything, but I just have fun with it in a solo setting. It's one thing I can use to come up with some new ideas. If I'm running out of things to say, I can start over with a new time feel, you know. And obviously using trying to put melodies in there, repeating things, playing dynamically, and using the rim, using the hands, and getting quiet, using like different textures, but still in that same form of those feels. It could be really fun to experiment.
Very
just
cool
find
stuff.
your own stuff, you know.
Yeah. Any last tips for the drummers out there that really want to get into this? Beginners, even intermediates. Any last tips that you can offer?
Just playing along with records, which is what I did growing up, that have really good time, to just get that internal clock really solid, and to where you can adapt to these things a lot easier and quicker, and it'll make more sense right away. I think just having an internal clock, using a click, different tempos, and different feels, and just being really confident and solid with your time feel. You know, that's the most important thing. And then once that's solid, then you can kind of branch out and you know, add all this other stuff to it. But without that solid thing, it's going to be a lot harder, you know.
I feel like I want to go and practice it right now. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, man.
My pleasure.
And for playing. There's so much more I want to ask you about soloing, but we don't have all the time today, so we're going to leave it there for the teaching side of things. If you guys want to see more of Keith, come to drumeo.com. We're filming a couple of courses with you, a bunch of performances, some quick tips and everything like that. It's going to be a lot of fun talking about expanding your grooves, shuffles, and all sorts of things. And we're definitely going to be diving more into soloing as well. So drumeo.com/trial if you want to check it out. Also follow Keith online, keithcarlock.com. You can find him on Twitter. Like him and follow him on Instagram, because you're about to start posting more. Is that right?
Yeah, if I get some more followers, maybe I'll do that. So please.
That's the challenge. If you're watching this, go right now and follow him. And hopefully you see a big spike in there. Thank you so much again, man. I can't believe you're here, and I can't believe we're wrapping up, but you're always welcome to Drumeo.
Oh, man. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, hey.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Play us out with a song. And after the song, if you feel inclined to solo again, please do. We want to see you play. So we're going to do a Steely Dan track.
Yeah, Black Cow.
Black Cow. You guys may have heard this song. And I'm going to leave you with that. And like I said, once the song's done, feel free to continue. All right?
All right.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.